What's going on, everybody? So today we are going over the Reddit post by Wyatt Cheng here. We were kind of wondering whether or not we were going to get any sort of interaction with the Blizzard kind of developers here. This is really the first time outside of a random comment by Pez Radar where we've gotten this. So, not bad, I guess, in that case, but I'm excited to read through this and see what we got on warbands and clans. So first things first, he says that we're going to address some of the feedback on warbands, and we're going to fix 4 major problem areas. First off, they mentioned warbands can interfere with progress on other systems for Codex, Hero's Journey, and they said they're going to take steps to kind of remove this from blocking progress, and they're going to monitor it and just make sure that that doesn't happen again. Those of you that don't know, I believe this is referring to the hero's journey requiring a certain amount of warband chests. This was removed because it took a very, very long time and required you to group up with your warband members to make sure you get it. The second thing is warbands are 8 people large, but the primary warband raid activity requires 8 members. This is a major pain point, and they're going to address this by basically lowering the warband raid from 8 to 4. So this is actually a really cool feature. You're probably going to still have to have 8 members. However, you're going to have 4 warband members and then 4 anyone's, which is really, really nice. Still, the thing I have a problem with this is that most people are not going to have 4 people. Like that's already too much. Most people are not going to have party members, and let alone warband members. So I'll go over my full thoughts at the end of this. We're just going to go through the rest of the point that or Wyatt Cheng is talking about here. Third member mentioned here is warband rewards are not always viewed as worthwhile, and they said they're going to address that in the 4th point. Warbands don't offer meaningful, unique gameplay experiences. A common suggestion is to roll the functionality of warbands directly into clans. If we were looking only at a game that exists today, we would take this. However, we do have some unique gameplay experiences that can't be properly accommodated by clans that warbands will be better positions to take advantage of. And then they said that for the 3rd and 4th point, this is something you'll see in the next content patch. The next major content patch will be a first patch to offer unique gameplay experiences outside of what clans alone can offer. The experience of doing something with a group of 8 is very different than the experience of an activity designed for 100. In a group of 100, any one person can feel just like another name in the crowd. Ironically, this isn't even true in this game because you can only have 8 members in your 100 clan activity. Keep in mind that you have Rite of Exile, which is an 8v8 battleground, so you really only have 8 players, and Rite of Exile, the free-for-all is a 3v3, v3, 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 so it's like, this isn't even true in clan activities. I think that's just an excuse. In a smaller group of 8, the contribution and personality of each individual is more intimate. That is true. Our goal is to provide a persistent progression system that you are willing to advance with a sense of teamwork and cooperation. So, let me just go over my overall thoughts. First off, I will go over what I think is a problem with this. So they are clearly doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on warbands here. They want warbands to be a thing, and that's perfectly fine to some degree. The problem I see with this is that we do not have the player base to generally support an active active warband of 8 people. And even if you require 4 people, most people aren't going to have those 4 people. In fact, most people are not even going to enter a system this entirely. They're going to be playing solo. On top of all that, most people are not even running dungeons because they can't get a second person. They want to play solo. So much less going to be able to go ahead and experience these unique gameplay experiences that they're talking about, which is really, really unfortunate. So I will say that's going to be your average casual player. So I still think that that's going to be a problem, regardless of what they want to do, regardless if they make warbands 4 people or 8 people. Or if they just make warbands something that you could do solo but progress as a group. That is something I want to go over in just a moment. The second thing is I want to talk about just what they're going to actually think about adding here in terms of unique gameplay experiences. From what I remember, at least from I think JT's video and a couple other things out there, they're going to make this new wave type game mode a warband experiences, and I imagine that they're going to do something similar in the future if that's what the route they're going. Again, based on like JT's video, I think he was talking about the new Defense of Sirengar, I think that's what it's called, where you're going to fight against waves, and that requires a warband. I imagine they're going to do something similar if they're talking about adding unique gameplay experiences. So that is something that we could maybe expect. And then the third thing here is that they talk about progressing, provide a persistent progression system that you are able to advance with a sense of teamwork. Now, this is something that I think is actually incredibly important. So Besides the point that warbands are going to be hard for the casual average player to use because you need multiple members online. Simple as that. There's nothing that will ever change that. That is always going to be a problem if you want warbands to exist. However, if they make it so warbands are incentivized to stay together because you are progressing a system, as they say here, well, this could be very, very impactful. And in fact, it's one of the things that I actually recorded a video on what I expect from the next patch before this even dropped. And that's going to be coming out tomorrow. So I think I mentioned that in this video, but one thing I'd love to see in the future is a progression system, an additional progression system that feels like you're developing something that requires you to log in every day and enjoy your daily activities. This is important. And if the warband system is something that does it, that could be interesting, because right now everyone leaves their warband, they go do their warband raid, if even that, and then that's it. They just move to whatever warband's convenient for the day to make sure you're finishing all the activities. If they make it so you want to stay in a warband because you're progressing, like for example, a mini clan, and you're getting bonuses for this, that could be very impactful. The only problem I see with this, again, is that it requires you to have a group, and it requires you to have an active group, and if someone quits, does it screw you over? Those are the three concerns I have in this situation. Again, regardless of any sort of modification they make to warbands, if they make warbands a thing, you're going to have a problem because you need to find at least, as they're saying here, 4 active players that you can get together at a time, which is very difficult in a mobile game, especially one that has been losing quite a bit of its player base. So let me know what you all think. One thing I'll say as my overall thoughts here as we're wrapping up this video, I'm excited about the new progression system. I think these are good changes. Regardless of what I've said in terms of criticizing warbands at large, I think these are all good changes. So I do want to mention that Blizzard is doing a good job in going the right direction. I just don't think warbands can ever be a thing for the casual player is the only problem I see. And if you're really trying to get your casual average spender or average free-to-play player involved in the game, this is not the way to go. That's the only concern I have. Maybe I'll be wrong about that. I'm very hopeful that I'm wrong about that. But again, 4 players being online and forcing people to have those 4 players in your warband, no less. Keep in mind that if they go with this progression system, you're going to have the same 4 players online every time, and you can't even do the thing that you're doing now, which is leaving warbands and jumping to another warband. So I can see this being a very, very problematic solution in what they're going for, regardless of it being improved from previous. So those are my concerns. Let me know if you share my concerns or if you completely disagree and you love the warband system. I will say for myself, I'm excited because I do have 4 active players minimum. I will have no problem going through and doing the warband activities, but I'm concerned for you all. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, like the video, sub to the channel, and you'll see my thoughts on potentially the new patch coming to, in the next couple of weeks tomorrow on what I'm thinking is going to happen and what I hope to happen. Check that out if you want to, and I'll see you then.